What's up guys, welcome to the Code Patch. My name is Nick, and the previous tutorial was about loops and for loops. So I taught you guys how to use for and what are loops. So in these tutorials we'll be using a while loop. So while loops are similar to the for loop, and anything that a for loop can do, so does the while can. So if you need to solve any problem with a loop, you can use for and while equally. So the only difference is we use while when we don't know when our loop is going to end. So when we don't know how many iterations we're going to have, and we use for when we know exactly how many. So let me just show you the syntax for while, and let's do the same thing that we did in for. So write our counter values from one to the another in, for example, each and every line. So let's just write. So the keyword is while, and then you open these curly brackets which marks its body, and before that in brackets you put a condition, and while this condition is true, the while is going to loop. So for example, let's just make that same example that we had in for. So we have an I that is our counter, and for example let's set it to 0 here, and now we say while I is less or equal less or equal to 10, we are going to see out I in a new line. So every iteration will be a new line, and we need to increment our I every iteration. So while I is lesser than 10, this is going to loop, alright? And when it comes to 10 or above 10, it's going to break this loop. So let's just compile and run this now, and there it is. It's the same thing that we did with for. So let's now do it like this. Let's just say 10 I is 10 to begin with, and while I is greater than 0, let's just print out the I. So we have alright, so I forgot this here, and alright, so now you have it from 10 to 1. So if we wanted 0 to be written also, we're going to put like this. Alright, so let's now run it again, and there it is. So now let's use this while loop to make a program that multiplies by adding. So we are not going to use an operation multiply, this star. We're going to be using plus to multiply. So how do we do that? So we need two numbers, alright, int a and int b, alright, and we are going to input a and input b. So we're just going to input these two, so we don't need to write a message now. This is just an example. Let's just input these two. And how do we add by multiply, or how do we multiply by adding? So we have two numbers. For example, this is 4 and this is 2. So how do we multiply this? Well, we use this number as a counter and this number as adding. So for adding, not as for adding, sorry. So we need to add 4 two times. So when we add 4 two times, it's going to give us an 8, right? So 2 multiplied by 4 is 8. So let's take an example of 5 and 4. We need to add 4 5 times. So we have 4 plus 4, right? So 5 times. So this is going to be equal as saying 4 multiplied by 5, right? So that is how we're going to make this. We're going to use this b as a counter, and we're going to add a, alright? So let's now just delete this, right? We don't need it, and the condition will be while b is greater than 0, we are going to add a equals a plus a, right? So, and let's just print out at the end of this while what's our a going to be. Or let's just make another variable named c, and we're going to say c, first initialize it to 0, and we're going to say c equals c plus a. Alright, so I'm not sure if this would work. Alright, I'm not sure if this will work. I think it won't, so that's a mistake by me. We'll need a new variable that we're going to accumulate all of these values. So we're just going to sum it. Let's just name it sum. Alright, let's name it sum, and sum is equal sum plus a. So let's just say plus equals a. Alright, and in every iteration we're going to reduce or decrease this b. So decrement b. Alright, so let's just now see out this sum after this while loop, and let's see what we get. So let's run it, and so it's waiting for us to input an a. So let's input 4, and then it's waiting for us to input b. So let's say 5, and the result is 20. So 4 times 5 is actually 20. So that is how we done it. So what is happening here, if you didn't get it? So we basically say while b is greater than 0, we're going to put a into this sum. So for example, b is 2. The first iteration is going to be while b is greater than 2, or if b is 2, is going to be while 2 is greater than 0. It's going to do this, and then it's going to reduce it, and in the next iteration b is going to be 1 while 1 is greater than 0. That is true. It's going to do this again, and then when it say 0 is greater than 0, this is false, and it's going to break this while and go to the next line. Alright, so that is how this program works. So that's it for this tutorials. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like, it always sure helps, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.